Good afternoon. I thought I would try this thing because I just this morning watched a video that said if you want to increase counts, subscribers, likes, whatever, put how to in your title. In other words, make a how to video, but it's kind of scamish actually. It's more or less whether this is something you really want to do, whether it's in line with what you're doing on your channel, which on my channel it's whatever. Whatever I'm thinking that day, whatever comes out. They're basically preaching more or less consistency. Make it about one thing, how to fix your airplane, whatever, make it about that niche, that one thing, that one topic that you're good at or interested in or just want to share with the rest of the world, whatever. I'm an artist and a musician, so I'm somewhat bright and very imaginative, which means I'm all over the place. So I can't follow this thing. As a matter of fact, in terms of my art, depending on what you're like as a person, basically these are the responses that I've gotten. It tends to fall into one of two categories. The first being, pick a lane, dude, you're all over the place. Or, the greatest compliment I ever got in terms of my artwork, there was a show in St. Petersburg. This guy found an abandoned warehouse, I guess just contacted the owners, rented it for a night, and just had a bunch of artists come in and display their work and advertised it. And then, people came down and it was actually, I think, during an art walk in St. Petersburg where it's nighttime, but every gallery is open. All the buses are free, so you can just bus up and down the road and just stop at whatever gallery, get off the bus, go peruse the work, get back on the bus, go wherever you want. But I brought a bunch of stuff down there, and I'm looking at other people's stuff, and they're fairly consistent. Like the woman who complimented me, she did the coolest stuff. She did these sculptures that were very cartoonish, basically, I think it was mostly marine life, but it would be like the tail of a fish curled around, and then there's the head of the fish, and they have almost a human face, at least in terms of the mouth. They'd be grinning and they'd have human teeth in there, and they were just the coolest things. But she looked at my stuff and she said something that really affected me. She looked at my stuff and she said, "Your work is fearless." And I just love that so much, because so much of the time in the past, the criticism I would get is, "You're all over the place. Pick a lane." And I can't do that. It's one of two things will happen. Just a random thought, I should see if I can flesh that out. Or I see somebody else doing something and it's like, I want to try that. So that's how I am as an artist. But in terms of the videos, you're going to see a lot of the same thing. I'm going to be all over the place because I don't want to do much politics, because I watch a lot of it. It seems that is saturated, and in terms of the ones that I watch, I can't compete against those guys. You know, they're willing to uh, do the legwork. They're willing to do the research. They're looking into it. They've got, as a matter of fact, much of what I know is just learning from them. I mean, I knew already how our government works. You know, how and when we elect the president, the different branches of Congress, how the Supreme Court is appointed, basically. So I'd say I'm more knowledgeable than the average American, but I'm certainly no expert. And the people that I watch, they are the experts. And I certainly have strong opinions about what's happening nowadays, but I don't have the background, and I have no wish to invest the kind of time it would entail in order for me to impart an opinion across the board. We'll just leave it at that. But things are crazy now, and it is unfortunate that it seems before, just recently, most of the rest of the world hated the American government because of whom we've got in office now, but not Americans per se. I think that's changing. I think they're now starting to consider the notion, well, the American government is in power because those people elected that douchebag. So, you know, we're to blame. Whether we individually voted for the douchebag or not, we are all to blame. And I think we're seeing that more and more, that no longer is it the world looks at the American government and holds their nose and says, yeah, but the Americans are still all right. Now we're not all right. We are part of the problem. The actual threat of violence to the rest of the world because of the regime that is now in charge of America. It's just nonsense. It shouldn't be. You've got basically an idiot that actually just doesn't understand human nature, because he internally does not think or behave like your average human. To him, it's all take and no give. It's what can I get out of this? Who can I screw over in the process? I think there's a measure of violence in all of the decisions if he can get away with it. It's just ugliness. It is. We are all a mixed bag of good and bad. So we all know what that bad is like to a degree. And most of us try to stay away from it. It seems he runs towards it with open arms. He wants to embrace it. So that's not how most Americans are, but that's what we're stuck with, along with the rest of the world. I'm sorry, I didn't vote for him. Well, there you have it. All right, thanks for watching.